everyone, welcome to Shell's Sugar Rush. Welcome back if you've been here before. And today we're going to be making this fabulous Boston cream pie. So let's get started. Okay, so for the pastry cream or custard in our Boston cream pie, you're going to need 4 egg yolks, 1/2 cup of granulated sugar, 1/4 cup of cornstarch. You will need 1.5 cups of whole milk and 1 teaspoon of vanilla, as well as 2 tablespoons of butter. And I have salted butter here. You can choose to use unsalted butter. If you do, then you'll want to add 1/4 teaspoon of salt into your recipe. Okay. Now I'm going to be using, of course, a medium saucepan, which you'll need. I've got a whisk and, of course, a spatula for mixing. And I'm going to be using my electric burner for this. And I have a bowl just to put our custard in when it's done so that we can chill it in this. Okay, so let's put it all together. So we're going to take our egg yolks and we'll put it into our saucepan, and our sugar, as well as our cornstarch, and we're just going to whisk this together until no more lumps remain. Okay. So we've got our nice creamy consistency. Now we're going to add in our milk. And we'll just mix that together real good. And then we're going to put it over medium heat for a few minutes to let it thicken up. Okay. Okay, so we're looking for a kind of creamy pudding-like consistency, which we have now. So this just takes, roughly 2 to 4 minutes to get to. But like I said, you'll want to stir it continuously because you don't want to scorch your custard, okay? So now at this point, we're going to remove it from the heat. And I'm just going to lay down a little hand towel just to protect the counter there. So we're going to remove it from the heat, and we are going to add in our vanilla. Okay. Oh, and that smells so good. Okay, just put that out of the way. Now we're going to add in our 2 tablespoons of butter, and just whisk that real good and till that butter is melted completely. So that looks fantastic. So now we're going to take our bowl that we pulled out, and we're going to just pop this into our bowl so that it can cool down. Now we're going to let it cool down for a few minutes, and once it cools down enough, then we will put, I will put just a piece of saran wrap over this and put it all the way, and I'll show you that once it cools down, but I'll put a piece of saran wrap and put it all the way down to the custard so that it won't form a crust or, that kind of hard piece on top while we let it chill, because once we cover it, we're going to put it in the refrigerator to chill for an hour or 2 while we bake our cake. Okay, so for our vanilla cake, as I said, I'm just using my favorite vanilla cake recipe. And normally I would make 3 layers with this, but I have cut the recipe in half. So I'm going to be using 1/4 cup of salted butter, 1/4 cup of canola oil, 2/3 cup of granulated sugar, 2/3 cup of buttermilk, 2 large eggs. I've got 2 teaspoons of vanilla in here, and then in here I have 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour, as well as 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Okay. So again, like I said, I've cut my normal recipe in half for this. I did get 2 parchment lined pans ready I'm hoping to just do maybe one thick one with a half of the recipe. Just do one thick one and tort it or cut it in half to get my 2 layers. But I've got a second pan, you know, just ready just in case it's, you know, a little too much for one pan. Okay. So, and then of course I've got a mixing bowl, spatula, and I'm going to be using my hand mixer for this. But first I'm going to grab the saran wrap and we are going to cover our custard like I told you I would show you. We're going to cover our custard and then put this in the refrigerator to chill for a couple of hours. Okay? So just like I said, just a piece of saran wrap, and we want to, I'm grabbing everything, and we want to make sure we put it down to where it actually touches the top of the custard, okay? And that is just so our custard won't form a skin on top, okay? Keep it nice and smooth all the way through. So there we go. And then we'll pop that in the refrigerator and put our cake together. Okay guys, so with our hand mixer, we are going to cream together our butter. Let me pop that out of there. Butter, our oil, and our sugar. Okay, and we're just going to mix that up for a couple minutes till it's nice and creamy. Okay, so you see we've got light and creamy, fluffy texture. So now we're going to go ahead and add in our buttermilk and our 2 eggs, as well as our vanilla. Okay? And we're going to just mix this up until everything's good and incorporated, and then we'll add our dry ingredients in. Okay, now for our dry ingredients, we're just going to add I'm going to add it in slowly with the mixer on slow so that we don't get in a cloud of dust here. Okay, and we mix that till it's just combined. This is a pretty thick batter here, okay? But that's okay. Getting a nice, moist vanilla cake. You set that to the side, and I'm just gonna scrape the bowl and just make sure everything's good and combined in there. Okay, and then we're gonna pop this in our pan and see how we do with one. Yeah, I'm happy with this amount. This is not too much in this pan. I know it's going to rise, but I think this is going to give us the exact height of layers I'm looking for once it's split in half. So, okay. All right, so this is ready to go in our preheated 350-degree oven. And I'm going to say it's probably going to take about 30 to 35 minutes just because it's going to be a little on the thicker side. Okay, so we'll pop it in and let it bake. Okay, so we're ready to put our Boston cream pie cake together. So our custard is chilled, our cake is ready, and for our chocolate ganache, you're going to need 1/4 cup of heavy cream, and also I have in here 1 tablespoon of light corn syrup. Okay, and about 4 ounces of chocolate, and I have chosen to use the Ghirardelli bittersweet chocolate. Okay, so you can use personal preference on that. And so what I'm going to do first is just steam my heavy cream and corn syrup. Just warm it up to a steam so that I can pour it over my chocolate and let it sit while we put the cake together. So be right back. Okay, so I've steamed that for about 30 seconds. So I'm going to go ahead and pour it over our chocolate and just put a little piece of saran wrap over that just to hold in that steam so it can begin to melt our chocolate. Okay, so we'll set that aside and go ahead and put our Boston cream pie cake together. So first thing I'm going to do is just cut this in half. Let me see what this is going to... Actually, that might be pretty perfect there if I can use the cake plate as a guide here. Beautiful, beautiful cake. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and fill that with our custard. And let's see here. Oh yeah, see? Our custard is nice and thick and cool now. Slightly mash it until you kind of have it where you want your custard. Okay, you see that? Custard just coming to the edges, and if you get some that comes out like that, all you gotta do is just take your spatula around, okay? All right. Okay, now we're gonna take our ganache and just kind of mix it up. And you see it's, you know, still looks separated when you get started, but just keep mixing it up and it's going to come together nicely. Okay, so that's consistency you're looking for. Okay. You don't want it too runny because you want it to stay on the cake when you put it on, but you want it a bit loose, but not too loose. Okay, I think we're good there. Let's go ahead and put this on our cake. So here's our Boston cream pie cake, Boston cream pie. And we're gonna put this in the refrigerator to just let it chill for a little while. And we're gonna be enjoying this after dinner this evening because it is one of my husband's favorites. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe. And don't forget to share. And I look forward to seeing you back again in the future.